Hello, sir.
Hey Brad, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing all right.
I appreciate the short notice turnaround on this thing.
Oh, that's fine. No problem.
Awesome. Before we talk about the show coming up in Saginaw in a few weeks, I want to talk about a Twitter exchange that you and I had relatively recently. A couple weeks ago, you shared a graphic. Somebody had came up with a list of the most famous fans of NFL teams. And for whatever reason, for the Denver Broncos, it was, of all people, Academy Award nominee Amy Adams. They decided she was a bigger fan. You then shared a video of you losing your mind at a Broncos game, and you were standing next to, and you referenced him as a dude with mutton chops. You were standing next to Metallica's master distiller, Rob Dietrich. And I was like, hey, I know that guy. I've met that guy. So I, in the replies, said, hey, that's Metallica master distiller, Rob Dietrich. It turns out, not just guy with mutton chops, actually a very good friend of yours. So
Yes,
not
sir.
only are you the Denver Broncos number one fan, but you're connected to Metallica through the guy that makes their whiskey, which is incredible.
Yeah, and as a whiskey lover, that's a good friend to have, man. No, Rob's a great guy, and shout out to him for not only having mutton chops, but then knowing all the lyrics to the song "Who Let the Dogs Out" in the in the Venn diagram. If you watch this clip, it's on my Instagram. You can just look up Brad Williams goes nuts at Broncos game, whatever. Um, in the Venn diagram of people with mutton chops and people who know the lyrics to "Who Let the Dogs Out," not sure there's a lot of interchange, but with that, but with our friend, yeah, it's there.
Yeah, you would expect him to know. I mean, working with Metallica, you'd hope he'd know all the words to Enter Sandman or whatever. But
Yeah,
knowing all the words to the Baha Men is a bit of a surprise.
exactly. Maybe I should come out to that when I'm at the when I'm at the Dow Event Center. Right
You
now,
should.
I'm coming out to yeah. Right now, I'm coming out to the band Fozzy, the song Judas. But I don't
Oh,
know.
perfect.
Maybe I might switch it up and Saginaw and come out there to Who Let the Dogs Out. Who knows?
Or maybe break out like a Joe Hendry or something.
Hey, say his name and he appears.
Oh, I wish
We
it'd be
are
cool if I had the chance to
we
have him
are
as a comedy.
going we are going so nerd by going full whiskey and full wrestling. Like the amount of people that are still tuning in now after full whiskey and full wrestling talk. It's pretty much just you and me just
I
talking.
know. And you know what?
But
I'm totally fine with that, dude. That's fine. That's okay.
yeah, exactly.
We could talk football too. As a Broncos fan, you've experienced success. I'm a Detroit Lions fan. I have not felt that ever, but we are on the cusp, Brad. So, what advice do you have for me as someone who may experience NFL success for the first time?
Oh, see, okay. So here's the thing about NFL success. It's only a failure if you come in thinking like Super Bowl or bust. Then it's a failed year. But if you come in saying, it's going to be another Lions season, and then you guys win 7, 8 games, win. That's a success. And right now, I mean, yes, the expectations are high. You guys have obviously a lot of amazing weapons up there. This Jared Goff story is great. As an LA guy, seeing him in LA just get like, hey, we got the Super Bowl with him. Let's change one piece on our football team, and then we win the Super Bowl. That you felt kind of bad for the guy, but then showing that he can do it and showing that he could be the guy that leads a team, it's really good. And the world was rooting for Detroit last year. We were like minus the teams that you guys actually played, who have their fans. We all wanted Detroit to get one because I mean anyone that's still a Lions fan after all those years of just getting kicked in the teeth, props to you, and you deserve your flowers and you deserve your Super Bowl. And if the Broncos don't win it, which I don't think we will with Bo Nix, but if we don't, then I would love to see the Lions get one, man.
I'll tell you this, if you really want to get the crowd over coming up on August 22nd, just start a Jared Goff chant during the show and you'll be golden.
Hey man, I loved watching. You probably saw the Netflix show Receiver.
Yep.
I loved watching all the stuff with Amon-Ra St. Brown. His dad's a trip. His 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 dad is. You could talk about whatever parenting styles you want, and that is completely up to you. You can't argue with his success. You got two kids to the NFL, but his dad's an absolute trip. But just his whole story is great. And I went to USC, so of course I'm rooting for Amon Ra. And yeah, just a great story. And yeah, I'll be watching him again this year.
Yeah, we could talk, dude. We could talk football and wrestling this entire time if you want, but let's talk Dow Event Center. Let's talk about the show. You've been doing stand up. I know there's the whole, and I've read this in other interviews where people are like overnight sensation. Like you've been doing this for like 20 plus years at this point. Like you're not overnight
Yeah,
sensation. You're playing bigger clubs now, but not overnight. You did your time.
yeah. Oh, only took 20 years to become an overnight sensation. So yeah, great. Yeah, been at the clubs forever. Been up to like Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, which is right up there in Detroit. Played that a bunch of times. But yeah, so I'm stoked to be at theaters now. I love it for so many reasons. Also, the size of the theaters I'm playing are still small enough to where they're still like intimate. I can still see the audience. But I don't have to get distracted, and I don't get heckled by a guy who's arguing with the waitress over nachos. And that's just a nice thing to not have to worry about at a stand-up comedy show. I think the show is better. You don't have that awkward moment where the waitress comes and brings the check, and now you're arguing with the table like, who had 5 Miller Lights, or whatever, So you're focused more on the show, and the reactions have been great. The audiences have been fantastic, and the Michigan fans are always good. They're always good. I don't know what it is about that state, but you guys just kind of get comedy, man. And so that's why I'm really stoked to be coming up to Saginaw. I don't believe I've ever been to Saginaw before. Any advice? Any things I should do? Any places I should eat?
Man, around the Dow Event Center, unfortunately, there's not a ton of stuff near the theater. There is a place called the SVRC that has a new spot that apparently the pizza is awesome. I haven't had it yet, but they've got a tap room in there. It's called Goose Tooth, so you can check that out.
Done.
That's right there. That's right near the theater. But then you got to go like Tittabawassee if you want to try. We'll get into Tittabawassee is something you need to know.
So
That's
what
the main
part
drag.
what part of Michigan
I
is?
was going to ask you because I've watched Starfish. Yeah. I see. I want you to do it. I want you to show me. Do you know where you're going?
I have no idea. I have no idea where I'm going. I'm going there. Okay.
Around up a little bit higher. Yeah. Saginaw
Okay.
back here. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good, man. It's fun to get for those of you who don't know, I did a bit in the newest special Starfish, which is now on YouTube, which you can watch before you go to see me perform at the Dow Event Center, because it's all different material, so you don't have to worry about me doing the same stuff. But yeah, I did a bit in there about how Michigan points to the hand, and Ohio obviously has the spelling. They have to remind people that they can spell a 4-letter word. But you all have your thing. You all have your thing that you do, and that's really taken off. And a lot of Michigan fans are really happy that I know like the whole hand thing. But then you get the Yoopers, you get the Upper Peninsula people being like, "Hey, we're not the hand." I'm like, "I'll okay, sorry." I haven't done that many gigs in Sault Ste. Marie. Okay, like I'll rectify that in the coming years. But Michigan's always been a great comedy place for me to go, and there's always been great people there, and looking forward to meeting more great people in Saginaw.
You mentioned the special Starfish. It's on YouTube, 2 million views. You can watch it for free before the show in Saginaw. As your career continues to grow, do you feel like there's more pressure when you put these specials out because you're at a level now where you're getting those millions of views on these things, and Veeps is doing in the premiere and Showtime and all that stuff? Do you feel more pressure?
Yeah, because I want to make sure that I know what happens a lot of times in comedy is someone watches something, says, "Wow, this guy's really great," or "This girl's really great," and then they share it with their friends. And you don't want to be the guy that someone went to their friends, talked you up. "Oh, you got to buy tickets to see this guy. This guy's great. This guy's awesome." And then you lay an egg on stage. So yeah, there is more pressure, but thankfully, 20 years to become an overnight sensation. I've got the chops and I've got the experience, and I know what I'm doing. I'd feel bad if I was someone that maybe gave an interview, said the words "Hawk Tua," and then just became a really famous person overnight. That's when you're not prepared for it. That's when it's like, oh, this is going to get crazy real fast. But thankfully, I've been there I've been there the whole time. So I've been there for the build, and there's a lot of new stuff that I'm really happy with. It's always like, which is your favorite joke? It's like when Tom Brady's, they would ask him like, "What's your favorite Super Bowl?" He would always say the next one. And what's my favorite joke? The next one. It's the next one that I'm writing. There's no better feeling than writing that new joke, having the audience go nuts, and I'm stoked about it, man.
How long does it take you as you're working on new material? How long does it take you to sort of get it to a point where you go, all right, now I'm ready to do my next special? How long does it take between testing in front of audiences and seeing what the reactions are like, and how much time between jokes
Yeah.
and all that stuff? How long does that take?
Oh man. I'm also like, I got a high standard because if you watch the audience reactions, they're big. I like the big laughs, the applause breaks, so it's like for me it takes about year and a half, 2 years. Louis CK kind of set this crazy standard of like new hour every year. I'm like, no, it's not ready yet. Like I gotta but it takes about 2 years because I want it just to be uppercuts for the entire hour. I don't want like two really good bits and then everything else is just kind of filler. So I want to make sure I give people their money's worth. Money's tight, and the fact that you're laying down some coin to see me, to get a babysitter, pay for parking, pay for beer, like, and I know if the Michigan bar tab is going to be higher than most. So the fact that people are doing that, there's a lot of pressure on me to then go give them a show to where they walk away going, yeah, that was worth that. So I have a very high standard, and I'm going to bring that high standard to the Dow Event Center.
Do you feel as you're working
Is
on
it
more?
Dow or is it DOW?
No, Dow, you've got it. Yeah, the Dow events.
Okay,
Like,
good.
so Dow Chemical, Dow is in Midland, and they essentially not everything is owned by, but we have Dow Diamond, we have Dow Gardens, we have the Dow Event Center. So
Got it. So your Dow is like Brondo from Idiocracy. We're just Brondo. It's got what plants crave. Got it. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Cool.
So the show on August 22nd, Saginaw, you mentioned new material. Do you feel
Yeah.
as you're writing new material, you're writing new stuff, the world has changed, 2024, things are a little bit different than maybe they were? Does it change the way you write it all? Does it change the way you present anything, the way people react to stuff now?
Thankfully, so people talk about like, oh, comedians can't say what they want to say, and cancel culture, and blah 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 blah. I could name you a few canceled comedians: Shane Gillis, Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K. I don't think they're suffering for ticket sales. I think everyone's still buying tickets to see them. So I don't think that there's this world where comedians can't say what they want. There's a lot more people that are more vocal about what they don't want to hear. But then it's like it's the yin yang. When you have more people that are fighting against or the for political correctness and for censorship and for comedians just buttoning it up, you have a lot more people that are like, F that, go crazy. And those are the people that come out to the shows, and those are the people I want to see. But I'm not a political comic, so no matter who you're voting for in this next upcoming election, fine, great. You're not going to be belittled. Funny, come from the dwarf. But you're not. But I'm not going to tell you you're dumb for whoever you're voting for. You're voting for whoever you're voting for based on a belief that you think they're going to make the country better. I don't want to discourage that thought. So if you come to the show, I'm not going to attack one side. I'll do some jokes on both sides. So laugh at the joke about your person because there's going to be a joke about the other person too.
It's not just stand-up, though. I know you are involved in a movie that's coming out next year.
Yes,
I
sir.
believe since it's on the Wikipedia page, you can now discuss the fact that there is a Spinal Tap sequel coming out that you will be in.
Yeah, I am beyond thrilled about this. I wish I could tell you the date. or the platform. I don't know yet. So, but in the sequel, all your favorites are back from the original Spinal Tap. I shot a scene that I can't tell you how hard I laughed. Like, it was just, as soon as they said cut, everyone just burst into laughter for what we had just witnessed. There's tons of guest stars. You can go on the IMDb page. People like, Sir Paul McCartney, he stops by, in case you've ever heard of that guy. Sir Elton John, Garth Brooks, Dave Grohl. Like, you realize that what the original movie meant to so many people. So you're just trying to honor that. And people have asked me, what part do I play in Spinal Tap 2? I'm not allowed to tell you what I did, but if you know Spinal Tap, it's not hard to figure out. And I do it with my buddy Wee Man from Jackass. He is also in the movie, which I'm thrilled about. A, I got to work with my friend. B, people can finally realize that he and I are not the same person. We will appear on camera at the same time. People can be like, oh yeah, different people. Okay, good. So I'm thrilled about that.
I'm curious if, and I only asked this because I did an interview with Harry Shearer. It was a couple of years ago, but he was Derek Smalls, and I missed the call. He left me a voicemail as Derek Smalls. Does he stay in character the whole time?
Yeah, of course he does. Harry's a professional. He's really good, and the entire original band is back. I got to sit down and have a long conversation with Michael McKean, and that was just, I'm just trying not to fanboy the whole time, and in terms of obviously all of his great work and Better Call Saul most recently, and then shout out to Christopher Guest, because I did his film called Mascots, which is on Netflix. If you want to watch that, great movie. And he remembered me, so when he needed a little person for a certain part, he's like, well, I already have a funny one, let's get Brad. So shout out to him for having me back, man. It was truly a wonderful, memorable experience. And I love films like that, where it's like, yeah, I could say I did a Spinal Tap movie. That's cool.
That's pretty awesome. The rumor is that that'll be out sometime next year. No date announced yet. And now we go back to wrestling, because you will once again be joining up with Chris Jericho on the Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea. I think this is the 5th year that they're doing, the 5th or 6th year.
It's the 6th cruise, but it's the 5th one that I've been on.
There we go.
I had to miss 1 year because, my wife had the audacity to have a baby around that time.
She?
Just how dare she? So I had to be a good dad and, be there for that. Yeah, but it's the 5th one I've been on. I can't tell you, dude, like, Chris Jericho, Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea, wrestling, heavy metal, comedy, all on a boat. It's great. I would go on this thing if I wasn't working it. I make a little behind the scenes. This is a pay cut for me. I make less money doing this show than I would if I would just go do my own stuff. But I don't care, because it's so much fun. Don't tell Chris if you talk to him, but I would do it for free. I really would. So it's great to be on there. I'm a big wrestling nerd, so to meet all the AEW wrestlers, some of the classic wrestlers, like this year, Scott Steiner is going to be on the boat, Jerry Lawler, a bunch of if you grew up in the 80s and 90s watching wrestling, there's going to be a bunch of wrestlers there that you're going to know and love. So yeah, it's unreal, man. It like, I've had long conversations with Jake the Snake Roberts. I never thought that would happen. So I've got to meet a bunch of my heroes through this cruise, and it's always a good time. And now it's like, when I go to these cities, wrestlers live all over the country, and now randomly I'll get hit up from the Murder Hawk monster Lance Archer and be like, hey, you're in Dallas, want to come to your show? Awesome, Lance, hop on in. So it's an absolute blast. I don't make any more money if it sells out. I don't care. I'm encouraging everyone to go to the Chris Jericho Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea. If you can't see me at the Dow Event Center in Saginaw, go to this, because you're going to see everything. You're going to see wrestling, metal. I think the band that does Cody Rhodes' theme song, Downstate, is on this one. So, like, even though it's an AEW cruise, you're going to be able to do the whoa. Yeah.
I got it.
It's going to be great. So I'm stoked for this one, man. I'm a 40-year-old dude, but as soon as I get on that boat, I'm right back to being a 12-year-old kid, just cheering for the good guys, booing the bad guys. Last year on the boat, there's a clip, you can find it, of me in the ring with the Dudley Boys, and I got to do the Dudley Boys "What's Up" headbutt. I would say from the top rope. It wasn't from the top; it was from the middle rope. I wasn't going all the way that high, but yeah, I got to dive and have my head land in the crotch of a member of the gun club. So that was a trip. And so, like, just bucket list getting checked off every year on this cruise. So by all means, join us on the Chris Jericho Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea. It's the 6-1. They're calling it 6 on the beach. Get it? So yeah, watch my special. Come to the Dow Event Center. Hop on the cruise. It's gonna be a great time.
I will say this, in my 20+ year career in radio, my father has asked me for tickets like 4 or 5 times. It was Alice Cooper, Meatloaf, Nickelback, and he recently said, "Hey, are you going to get any tickets to see Brad Williams? That guy's hilarious."
You know what? I'm happy to be in that company. Alice Cooper and Meatloaf and
Yeah,
Nickelback.
not a
The
bad
dude's
group.
got range. Your dad's got range.
He sure
Shout
does.
out to him.
He sure does.
Yeah. I've seen 2 of those people live, and they're great. So don't know about the third, but yeah, I'm happy to be in that company. And by all means, if you haven't gotten your dad tickets, stay on the line with me once we get off, and I'll make sure that I'll make sure I get him a couple.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Brad Williams will be at the Dow Event Center coming up August 22nd. Tickets are on sale right now. Ticketmaster.com, Dow Event Center box office. This has been fun, man. I appreciate it, and looking forward to having you in Saginaw here in a few weeks.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, thank you, and thanks for being a fan of all things metal, wrestling, comedy, football. Dude, I feel like we're kindred spirits. So I feel like
I feel that way too.
If you have a 4-year-old dwarf daughter, I'm basically looking into a mirror. So
No, we missed that one, man. So
it's
close.
all right. Nobody's perfect. But dude, thanks, man. Great talking with you.